Welcome to Torforten Square. It's January 18, 2025. We're talking again about the German parliamentary elections, and it's 36th day until election day in Germany. And here news polls, and we have a surprise. The CSU-CDU is now below 30%. And, well, another surprise. The AfD doesn't keep growing, but remains in the same position. And we can also see that the SPD and the Greens, the remaining government parties, are losing appeal to the voters. In the meantime, the BSW, the Bündnis Wagenknecht, and the FDP are gaining. The FDP would now, at this moment, probably be in parliament. But at the same time, Die Linke, the left, is losing some points again. But this is just the state of the polls as we got them from Forsar, Insar, and Co. Let's see what our aggregated polls say. Here we have the aggregated polls, and even here the CDU-CSU is losing. At the meantime, the SPD, is gaining almost 1%. And even the FDP is moving plus 0.2%. But at the same time, Greens are losing almost unchanged the Linke. And minimum gains for the AfD, almost no change to free voters, and then also some gains to the BSW. Today we're talking about energy. And when we're talking about energy, we mean power production, like what you do when you plug in your phone, your microwave, whatever you want to run it, you need energy. And here we are. Germany was reliant on nuclear power, black coal and brown coal. But over the time, this was changing. The influence of black coal has been reduced mostly and is now less important than many other sources. Brown coal is still important, but is also losing importance. And nuclear power is no longer part of the German energy mix. But we still see that there's natural gas, that there is some mineral oil, or what is called, it's called mineral oil, and these are all power plants. You can imagine that when the price for oil is going up and down, it's hard to calculate how much an oil power plant makes. Then we also have biomass. So this is like that you take garden waste and waste from harvesting, and then you can turn this into energy. Then we also have wind power. Then we have photovoltaic, like solar, hydropower plants, Wasserkraft, and we have others. And what we can see here is that wind is already a very important provider of power in Germany. So this is the current state of the energy production in Germany. Let's go into more details because we know that Germany at the moment has some problems with its economy. And one of the reasons could be energy. First of all, I want to apologize that the legend is in German and that, well, it does indeed look a bit ugly, but it was hard to show this graph in any way because there are so many data points. But what we can see here, the industry energy prices and for Germany and its neighbors from 2008 till 2022 is that Germany generally had a higher energy price for the industry. And this for a country that was the powerhouse or is the powerhouse of the European economy. It is very industrialized and still, despite the high prices, they did well. This is now changing, of course, but you can see that there's a big gap between Germany and its neighbors. We can see, for example, Netherlands, France, Belgium. We can also see Poland and Czechia. And only recently, Austria was or is close to Germany, but only since the prices are increasing. And it seems like when you look at the chart that the prices in the neighbor states of Germany are increasing faster than in Germany. We can also see the average and the median. These are the not dotted lines in yellow and in red. They are also going up straight. Unlike Germany, they are also going up, but not that fast. Then in comparison, the consumer energy prices for the households. Here you can see that Germany is not or not always the most expensive um, price. Or it doesn't have the most expensive price. It's in that case Denmark. And here you can also see that some states in the end of the first half year of 2025 see a huge increase of the prices, like Denmark and Czech Republic. Pardon. But also, we don't want to miss it that the prices are suddenly going down steeply in the Netherlands. Germany is very stable, and this is interesting because you remember the previous slide, the prices went up for the industry. This can explain why the German economy, why the German industry is complaining, because some industries like chemistry need a lot of energy. And when we're talking about energy, there's also something to share. It's the energy trade balance of Germany. For a long time, Germany has been an exporter of electricity. This is what you can see here with this chart starting in 2005 and it goes to 2023. And it began in 2021 when the exports went down and imports went up. And I have no real explanation. I can only assume what could be the reason. Um, but it seems not to be the war in Ukraine, but it could be a change in the energy policy. Since the government has changed in 2021 and the Greens have been a part of the government, but this is only an assumption. I have no clue. I didn't do any research on that, and I feel obligated that I remain neutral and unbiased. So let's talk about the parties and their energy policy or the energy programs. Let's start with the largest party or alliance. This is CDU CSU. So they are looking for climate neutrality by 2025, 2045. Sorry, and they will count on renewable energies. They will use fossil fuels, but over emissions trading, this should become more expensive, and the people, the voters, should later get a climate bonus from this emissions trading. Then we want to be open to new technologies, to CO2 storage, nuclear energy, which is an important topic in policy, politics. And they want also make it mandatory that people have an insurance to adapt to climate so that they are protected against extreme weather like storms, floods, and so on. Let's go on with the SPD. They are looking more to make climate protection social so that everybody can afford it, and they want to relieve the low income earners with climate money. It sounds like they will provide um, interest free bonuses, loans, or general support, for example, from government owned banks like the KfW, the Kreditanstalt for Wiederaufbau. Then they want to reduce CO2 through speed limits. There are no speed limits, no official ones on German highways, but people are discussing speed limits like 120 or 130. Decarbonization and then state support for climate neutral production, like green steel. This is an issue that if you produce steel, it's climate neutral. And then you know, expanded mobility, climate friendly cities, and better infrastructure for your electronic vehicles, because this, according to reports, it is a mess in Germany, and of course more green spaces. Then the Greens, the Bündnis 90 Die Grünen, want to modernize the economy to be climate neutral with CO2 pricing, regulations, and state funding. Then also they want that even low incomers or low earners can afford an e-car. They also support a speed limit on German highways, and they want support for the 49 euro ticket. This is a Germany wide transport ticket, so that you only need one ticket and you can use almost every train, every bus, every subway and tram in Germany. And last but not least, they also want to adapt cities to new climate or changing climate, with sponge city concepts and green spaces. On the other hand, the Free Democrats, the Freie Demokraten, FDP, they want to be climate neutral by 2050, and they want to pay a climate dividend per capita. They look for openness in technology, like e-fuels. This has been a topic while as long as the SPD has been FDP, while as long as the FDP has been in the government, and they supported e-fuels. They support here fracking and nuclear fusion and lower electricity costs. They are looking to strengthen public transport and to want to make flying more attractive by reducing taxes and fees. On the other hand, the AFD thinks that climate change is not caused by human beings. They want to abolish pricing of CO2 and end the combustion engine ban. Then we also see that they will focus more on coal again, also and nuclear energy, and they want to reopen the Nord Stream pipeline between Germany and Russia. They also look to protect cars from fees, but they also want to strengthen public transport, rail, and reduce taxes in aviation. The Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht is pragmatic. They want to use fossil fuels and reject CO2 pricing. They're also looking for cheaper energy via lower grid fees and regional gas power plants. They are looking to expand renewables, but also want to have leasing incentives for EU-made EVs and efficient combustion engines. And last but not least, we have the Linker, or the left. They want that climate protection is binding and want to pay social climate money. They want to phase out coal by 2030, so in 5 years, and they want to shift away from natural gas and want to pay funding of up to 100% for retrofits. and they don't just support public um, transport ticket like what we have seen with the 49 euro ticket. They want to go back to the time when the ticket price was €9. They also support speed limits and want to ban domestic flights and private jets. Now let's go to inflation. And this is another interesting topic, and it's related to energy because we have seen energy prices, and this is part of inflation. As we can see here we have the German consumer index price from 2005 to 2024. And what we can see here, first of all, is a line going down, and this is post and telecommunication. So, like internet access, like a contract for your mobile phone, or maybe smartphone prices. And what we can also see here easily is a green line, and this is the price for education. This is when Germany introduced the tuition fee, and this is what everybody had to pay. Later, it has been removed, and this is where you can see, or abolished, and this is where you can see that the prices normalized again. But so far, suddenly, education was more expensive. And here, by the way, you can also see that later the prices for food, beverages, non-alcoholic beverages, and for traffic went up. Then same for restaurants and hotels and several others, but these are easily to spot. But let's see how it all compares. First of all, here's a nice comparison, stacked inflation rates of Germany and its neighbors. And here you can see how suddenly there's a dramatic rise of inflation at the beginning of the third decade of the 20th century, in 2020, 2021, with the ending of the pandemic. And this is when the governments, specifically the USA, paid stimulus money to its people. And then we can also see that it later moved to Europe and to Germany. To better visualize it, let's see how it looks like then here. First of all, we can see here the minimum inflation rate of a neighbor and the maximum inflation rate of a neighbor of Germany and Germany itself. Germany has been most of the time moving in the middle, with some exceptions, but it never met the high rates that some of its neighbors, like Poland and Czechia, have faced. Um, we can see here the highest amount was close to 20%, while Germany was around 12%, the highest value when inflation was high. Then it went down. The lowest value, and this was most likely Switzerland, was around 3.5 to 4%. We compare it now with the USA, with the EU, and with the Eurozone. And here you can see that the USA started much earlier with inflation rate that went up dramatically. But we can also see that Germany, the EU area, and the Eurozone were relatively tight. So they are mostly moving together, even though not completely, of course. But we can see the delay or the lagging between Europe and the United States, and we can see how the whole European Union sticks together. Then we can also see how several different classes, consumer classes, developed in Germany over the time and in the European Union. In blue, we have food and beverages. Light blue is the European Union, and dark blue is Germany. So the price increase was much higher in the European Union itself than it was for Germany. Then we can also compare the prices for housing, utilities, and foods in comparison to Germany. And same here, the European Union has often been much higher with over 35%. And then also health in Germany and the EU. In that case, Germany was higher, even though we have been still below 5%, but health costs increased. And then we have three more categories: transport, education, restaurant, and hotels. Again in blue, transport. Even here, before the pandemic, uh, sorry, now, let's redefine this. For some time before the pandemic, the inflation rate for transport has been lower than in Germany. But altogether, except from the the time between 2019 and 2020, inflation rate for transport has been higher in the European Union itself than in Germany. Then we can compare the inflation for education in the EU and Germany. And here, Germany had a higher inflation on education than the rest of the European Union. Last but not least, let's compare restaurants and hotels. And here we can see that in many years, the European Union also has a higher inflation rate for restaurants and hotels. I can't say right now where the high inflation rates do come from because I didn't check it. But it is possible that from time to time this may come from Eastern Europe where the prices are trying to adjust to other prices, or that they're going up due to, for example, tourism. But this is just an assumption. So before we end, okay, this is me. Those who are new to this channel, this is me, Christian Crump. I'm a dropout of Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. I earned my Executive Master of Business Administration from Quantic School of Business and Technology, Washington, D.C., USA. I also have a Bachelor of Arts in Social Science from Bielefeld University and several certificates from the Corporate Finance Institute in Canada. Thank you for watching.